Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I want to discuss BB-8 versus BB-9E. Which droid is better in Star Wars Battlefront 2? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of comparisons here in just a minute. So before I do that, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, because I am trying to post videos more consistently and more regularly. So if you guys are enjoying the frequent uploads, let me know down below in the comments, but be sure to subscribe with all notifications on so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos or live streams. Now, BB-8 and BB-9E have both just been added into Battlefront 2 with the recent BB update, and it's been a little bit controversial. There were a lot of people that didn't want these guys as heroes in the game or didn't think they were necessary of hero status. So what I wanted to do is kind of compare the two together, not so much compared against other heroes, but compared to each other to find out which of the two is actually better. Now, one thing I have seen being talked about a lot lately is that they don't think these two droids should be included in the hero status. And something that someone said on one of my videos was quite interesting. They thought that the droids could possibly even be some type of reinforcement class, but at like 3,000 battle points as opposed to 4,000. And I thought this was a pretty cool idea for like Supremacy or Galactic Assault, but in terms of actually playing in the hero modes, they would have to be at hero status. So if you were going to remove them and make them 3,000, it would kind of counter out having them in Heroes vs Villains and Hero Showdown. But it was a cool thought nonetheless, and I just thought I would mention it to see what you guys think. Anyways, let's dive into the numbers right now to start comparing BB-8 and BB-9E, and right at the end I will give you guys my opinion on which of the two droids are better. First up, let's take a look at the base damage numbers. Now obviously both the droids use their shock prod as their primary weapon. This is a little bit interesting because they are slightly different in both ways. You may think they work the same way if you've only played them briefly, but there are some minor differences. So I've done some tests, and BB-8's base damage per hit of his shock prod is 29 damage each time. Now with BB-9E, he actually only does 25 damage per hit. However, he does get a stun effect on the first impact of this ability. So if you're attacking someone, the first time you stun them with the shock prod, they will go into like a stun effect, and then you've got a little bit more time to get a second hit in on the enemy so that you don't take too much damage. Whereas BB-8 doesn't have this, he just has a little bit more damage. So it's hard to judge which one's better based off just the base damage. So I think this one kind of evens out, because BB-9E having that slight stun ability with his shock prod is actually a really cool feature, but then BB-8 has a bit more damage, so it's easier to take out enemies. So I think they kind of even each other out a little bit. The next thing I wanted to talk about is their middle abilities, and the middle ability for BB-8 does 45 damage per hit, but it will hit multiple times when you're in the vicinity of an enemy. So I think this is a really good feature. The fact that he turns so quickly, you can actually hit them 3 to 4 times within a couple of seconds. So its ability to take out infantry troopers and even heroes at time is really effective. So when you've got purple star cards for BB-8, it does deal 45 damage to all enemies each time it hits. So it's a really great feature to have. In terms of BB-9E's middle ability, he actually does do 90 damage upon impact if they're in the vicinity of the shock. However, this does have a knockback effect which sends the enemies flying. So you do that initial 90 damage, but then after that you have to follow up and chase the enemy to start causing damage to them again. With BB-8, it pretty much just does continuous damage, and although it's half as much damage, you will get 4 to 5 hits on an enemy if you need be to take them out. Whereas with BB-9E, you get the one initial impact, then you have to go and chase that enemy because they've been sent so far away. So in this category, I think BB-8's middle ability is actually better. Moving on to some of the other abilities, BB-8 has rolling charge, which if you guys didn't know, one-shots all infantry, including heavies and buffed officers, as it causes an absolutely massive 200 damage. Now I was really concerned about this ability at first. I heard the rolling charge and I thought, oh yeah, it'll be good, it has a knockdown effect, but it won't be very powerful because of that knockdown effect. However, this actually one-shots all infantry. It doesn't matter who it is, so you can deal 200 damage with this, and I believe it does about 150 damage to heroes as well. So it's a really powerful ability, not just in Supremacy or Galactic Assault, but also in Hero Showdown and Heroes vs Villains. Now to counter this for BB-9E, he has his charge up ability to stop the shock prod from overheating. This is a good ability, don't get me wrong, because sometimes it's great to not worry about running out of stamina with the shock prod if you're taking on multiple enemies, or even if you're taking on an enemy hero. However, I just don't think it's as effective as BB-8's rolling charge, because the ability to output 200 damage instantly is much more effective than having a little bit more stamina on the shock prod. Because because if you can manage your stamina well, I don't think you really need that extra time with it or that less drain. So I think BB BB-8 has the advantage with this one because Rolling Charge actually does have a pretty quick recharge time as well, so you get it back rather frequently and you can use it multiple times in short succession. So in that category, again, I think BB-8 definitely has the advantage. Next up, I want to talk about the two left abilities for both of the heroes. Now, BB-8's resistance backing is a scan of the enemy team as well as bonus damage. Now, although you don't get a lot of bonus damage, this is still, in my opinion, better than BB-9E's version because BB-9 has the smoke screen, however, he does not get bonus damage. He gets to reveal his enemies and he gets a smoke screen emitted from him, but really, if you take a look at it, the smoke screen doesn't do all that much and he's still pretty easy to see through that smoke. So I think BB-8 again has the better ability on the left side. Now, last but not least, I wanted to touch on the passive abilities, and something I think that's pretty good for BB-9E is the fact that he has Bacta support as one of his passive abilities, which heals the teammates that are around him when he's in the right vicinity. However, in saying this, I have done a look at this, and in terms of healing, it's only about 3 per second, which is almost unnoticeable. I don't think it is quite enough. If it was possibly 10 per second, that would be really helpful, but that might be a little bit too much. So somewhere between 5 and 10, I think would probably be a good number for this ability, to the point where it's actually noticeable. Because right now, honestly, if I'm using Bacta support on someone, I'm sure they're probably not even realizing it, because when I'm playing infantry or a hero, I don't feel that type of health increase coming back at all. It almost seems like it's not even there. So that's something to think about in terms of the passive abilities. I think that's a good one for BB-9E, and it's probably advantageous over BB-8, but I just don't think it's quite the right numbers for it to be effective enough. So guys, that is all the comparisons right now that I wanted to make. I think it's really interesting to see how DICE has done different things to both of these droids. They don't have the same playstyle, and although their movement is pretty much the same, they've really made their abilities different. And even to the point of giving them different passive abilities, I think that's really interesting as well. But the main thing that we are here to talk about is which droid is actually better. And in my personal opinion, and keep that in mind, this is my personal opinion, I think BB-8 is the better droid out of the two. BB-8 just has a higher damage output, and I know he's meant to be like that, and I know BB-9E is more of a support role. However, in terms of the support that BB-9E is giving, I just don't think it's quite enough. The smoke screen, really, you can still see him through it. The Bacta support isn't quite where it needs to be in terms of numbers. I think it needs a little bit of an increase to actually have much effect on your teammates, and I think the fact that his middle ability knocks enemies so far away, not allowing you to follow up with that, is actually a disadvantage, because I would love it if you got that knockdown ability, but they stayed close enough for you to still be able to cause damage to them. Similar to how BB-8's works, because he can spin around and hit multiple enemies multiple times within a quick time limit. So there you go, guys. I think BB-8 is the better hero out of the two. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is BB-8 your favorite, or is BB-9E? Because I'm always interested to know what you guys think. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion, but it comes down to how you guys like to play. Anyways, with all of that said, guys, I am going to get out of here. Be sure to leave a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and turn on all notifications for future Battlefront 2 videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and may the force be with you always.